Good morning. It was put on my heart today, June 22nd, 2021, to speak to men. There are so many messages about how women should be treated and how women need to be honored. And I don't disagree with any of that. But it's so neglectful of messages of how men should be treated. And there's just an assumption that there aren't any good men out here. That's totally not the case. I know several good men. And the reality is that there is so much highlight on the negativity that you do not see the celebration of the guys who are doing what they are supposed to do. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, for the ones you're doing what you're supposed to do, congratulations. Woo! You're doing it! And I say that because you need to think about the women in your life, or the woman in your life, or however that works for you. And the reason I say women, because it could be your mom, it could be your maid, it could be mothers of your children, what have you. You need to figure out who you really want on your team. And I say this because sometimes we may look at the trophy woman who is so physically pleasing to the eyes that we get mesmerized, whether thighs, hips, lips, or other mental trips, that we forget to look inside the mind and refine what we're looking for. I mean, if you want someone of quality, yeah, the physical attraction may get you there, but the mindset will keep you there. If you don't have a cheerleader on your team, especially when you mess up, you need to think about that. If the first thing a female, the woman that you think you want to be with, does is criticize you and berate you when you fail, that's of no substance to be with. And at the end of the day, sex gets old real fast when stuff gets real. If you don't have someone who wants to help you without even being asked, especially on something they can do, if you got 2 arms full of groceries or whatever you bringing inside the house, and she can't open the door for you, or try and take something out your hand, you might need to keep walking. If you don't have somebody that brings to the table, that adds to you or multiplies to you, you need to think about that. Like, it's a team. Together, everyone achieves more. I achieve more, she achieves more, we achieve more. And it don't always have to be financially, but it must be something to bring to the table. Maybe you need some peace. Maybe you need some knowledge. Maybe you need somebody to help you figure out this situation. They need to add and multiply to you. If she's not praying with you and for you and over you, that's a problem. And if she's not guarding her mind by not allowing her friend issues to get inside her head and become problems with you two, and she's not allowing all this social media stuff to become the fantasy that she seeks, not to say that you can't get ideas, but become more important than the relationship, become more important than the reality of, hey, this is where our finances are. that things just become unrealistic. The garden of her mind. Because there's only so much you can do to protect her garden. You can pray over her all day, but she a grown woman, and she's going to do what she want to do. So, with that being said, you need to think about, hey, what is she doing inside her own head that's causing situations or problems or just things that are not necessary with the finances, with the relationship, with the children, with whatever may be, that's not so conducive to happily ever after. So, looking at those 5 points of power, discernment. And if her discernment is not kicking in to the point where she's recognizing situations that you and or her should not be involved, you don't have the 5-point woman. Remember, a woman is a garden multiplier, help me, prophetic spirit, and discerning spirit. Now that prophetic spirit goes back toward that chili that I was telling you about. She needs to speak things that are positive over you. I remember in a relationship, and the mate I was with at the time kept saying, "You cheating on me, you cheating on me," and I was like, "I'm not even entertaining no other woman. Like, what are you talking about?" Kept speaking it over, and then my boy state, I ended up cheating. And I'm like, fine, like you did what you want, fine. But like I said, in my boy state, be careful of what that woman speaks over you, but be man enough to allow yourself the power to dictate what you are going to be allowed to be spoken over you, and be strong enough to resist the temptation to be less than the man for her. Just remember this: if you can stand in her, stand by her. And ladies, let me tell you, if you got a good man who's doing 70 to 80% of what he's supposed to do, that's pretty good, especially these days. Don't chase the turf that produces no fruit just because it's green all the time. Meaning, stop chasing these fake realities, these fake situations, these fantasies that do not produce what you want them to produce for the long haul. Ladies, you may not have been raised by a man, even if you was raised by a stepdaddy or a father or what have you, because he may never have known what it meant to be a man. So I challenge you to study biblically, what is a man? A man is a 6-part being, which is a prophet, priest, provider, protector, king, and responsible. The first thing God gave man was territory and a job over that territory, and to guard or protect that territory. So you can't be a king without a territory. So that means he needs to be either renting space or own space where he can have dominion. He's responsible for it, meaning stuff ain't all falling apart. When you go there, it's not all dilapidated. He takes responsibility for the upkeep of his vehicles. Whatever he owns, he takes care of it, because that lets you know he'll take care of you and your stuff the same way. So be sure that you're observant, not just on the ooh, but also on the the little things that sometimes get disguised in the relationship because we so live in the fantasy and dealing with the charm that we don't deal with the person. What are his dreams and goals? Do you fit? Do you fit in his dreams and goals? It's no sense in trying to be with somebody who's an entrepreneur and knows he's going to work different hours and just expect him to be off all the time. Oh, you got your own business. You can take off when you want to. Not necessarily. Because if I don't work, I don't eat. And that's something to think about. Furthermore, are you helping him build? Can you help him build his kingdom? Or y'all's kingdom? Because a man will serve his mate. But do you respect him enough to keep that flow of service going towards you? You can turn a man off. Your mouth, let me tell y'all women something. A woman builds or tears down her house with her mouth. Builds or tears down her house with her mouth. What are you saying that's killing your man? What's coming out your mouth? Or what's coming out your mouth that makes his chest stick out and make him want to do it again and make him just keep his eyes on you and popping up at your job with flowers or lunch or whatever? Are you allowing the real connection to form? Are your walls so built up that every time somebody say something negative, you believe it? Especially if it's one of his past mates or enemies or somebody who could be jealous of your situation. Because if your man got it going on, you ain't the only one that see that he got it going on. You need to think about what's in the garden of your mind that got you thinking a certain way and programmed to see things a certain way. Because your mind is built on what you put in it. Can you help your guy? Can you see yourself being safe with him? Now, don't start stuff with him and then say, oh, I don't feel safe because I'm, hitting this dude upside the head and then I can't, I don't feel safe because I done started something. Man, that's something, you need to work on anger management. Does he try to provide for you? Before y'all even, if you say something that you need, does, he even try and meet you somewhere with that? At the very least, saying, hey, they got this on sale over here or whatever. Does he pray over you? Does he pray over his family? Does he have goals? Prophet, provider, priest, protector, king, and responsible. 6-point man of power. Guys, take note. Do what you need to do to be who you were created to be. Life in abundance is based on refusing to allow the enemy to steal, kill, and destroy the life Jesus promised you. You can do it, but allow the grace of God to help you through it. You need God.